Thank you. Governor, several polls show the public giving you high marks for handling this crisis, but there are parents who wish that you had given clearer guidelines and taken specific action on school reopening plans. You cite local control as the primary reason for your approach, but isn't a pandemic the time when stronger leadership is needed at a statewide level?
We provided the strongest leadership that the country saw, which is why we had such success with getting our numbers down, with having such strength in our economy. We have the best schools in the country, and we do it because we allow the locals to have the final say what happens in the classroom. We provided over 40 pages of guidance. The Division of Public Health and Dr. Chan worked with stakeholders and teachers and parents to create that guidance. And the number one request those stakeholders have was, let's make sure we have some flexibility, because what happens in a third grade classroom in Colebrook is very different than what's happening at Manchester Central High School. And so by providing that flexibility, what's the result? 85% of our schools are open in some fashion. We have no outbreaks. It's a huge success. Under Dan Feltus's original plan, if hospitalizations just went up 10%, we went from 10 to 11 hospitalizations, every school would have to close. Under his plan, every school today would be closed. And so that's not leadership. The governor shouldn't be sitting in his corner office, putting his thumb down, making one-size-fits-all dictation for every classroom in the state. Our plan worked, and we're very proud of it.
Senator Feltus, you spearheaded efforts to reject $46 million in federal aid for public charter schools here in New Hampshire. Would that money have helped right now as the education system tries to adapt in this pandemic?
Well, the biggest thing facing our schools, without question, is the lack of reopening in public health standards. You know, it's 5 or 6 weeks to go before schools were going to reopen, and people were expecting Governor Chris Sununu to actually lay forth some public health standards. He threw up his hands, punted it down to the local level, just like Trump punted it down to the local level on schools. I'm of that fundamental belief we are all in this together, which means you don't leave schools and families and educators on their own. Erin, my wife Erin, and I have 2 amazing daughters, Iris and Josie. Josie just turned 2 a couple weeks ago. They're going to go to public schools. We got to be looking out for our kids. They're our future. They deserve a foundation for success and opportunity that's as strong as the granite under our soil. And we need a real school reopening plan. And that doesn't exist right now. And you know what? People are told on the local level what to do. Well, call HHS ad hoc. These aren't things you can make up on the fly. We need real leadership. And when it came time to make a public school reopening plan and make the tough calls, Chris Sununu ducked. We needed leadership.
To the question that was raised on the $46 million, that's federal money, $46 million to expand public charter schools. And Dan Feltus led the charge and rejected the money, didn't even let the money come to the state and allow us to decide how to spend it, just rejected it outright. Do you know how many classrooms we could have built with $46 million? How much opportunity families and kids could have had during this pandemic with that $46 million? It was shameful, and we were shocked. Why would you reject $46 million for public charter school expansion? And I tell you what, when the Republicans win the House and the Senate back, we're going to draw that money down, and we're going to provide that opportunity for families.
Well, I don't view this as a partisan thing. I view it as we got to lift up our families and our children in public schools. And you know what? We secured the biggest public school education funding in state history, $140 million in public school education funding in this last budget. Finally doing full-day kindergarten like any other grade. Chris Sununu had it tied to Keno rather than doing it like any other grade. We did that. We got to protect it and move forward. Chris Sununu had said he wants to go backwards to 2019 spending levels in the budget, which means cutting $140 million of public school education funding out of the budget and raising property taxes on everyone.
Again, I'm the only governor in history to fund kindergarten in this state.
That's
not Governor Lynch, not Governor Hassan. That's exactly what we got done, and I'm very proud of it.
We're going to stay on the topic. Next question from Jen Vaughn.
Okay, Adam, thank you. Gentlemen, let's talk about hockey and youth sports during COVID. Governor, last week you made the decision to shut down ice rinks across the state to all skating and hockey, which mainly affects children. Why did you step in and take that action but have not stepped in when it comes to school sports or other local sports programs that also may be experiencing cases?
Well, we took a very, very difficult decision last week when we said we have to take a 2-week pause on hockey. We had 8 outbreaks, almost 150 cases, 23 different teams. And I know that wasn't a very popular decision. I think every decision we've made at some point throughout this crisis has been very difficult. And we know we're going to upset folks. But at the end of the day, you got to throw politics aside and just do what's right. So we think that by taking this 2 weeks, we can get folks tested. In terms of the other youth sports, we just aren't seeing the outbreaks in other youth sports as we have with hockey. And if we were, we could take steps with them. One of the benefits of New Hampshire is we're very strategic about how we go about it, whether it's guidance to open restaurants or retail. We don't have a one-size-fits-all. Whether it's with schools, whatever it might be. We're very careful, and it takes a lot of extra work, to be sure, but working with Dr. Chan, the Division of Public Health, the team there, we all thought this was the appropriate step to take, and that way we can save the hockey season. We can hopefully come back in a couple weeks, kind of be fresh, identify who's positive and who isn't, and hopefully move on with some better guidance.
Well, Senator Feltes, what metrics would you be using to determine if youth sports should continue? And do you think more than just hockey should be shut down right now?
Well, I think you got to listen to the medical experts, and fundamentally, this is a healthcare decision. And when it came time to make decisions about hockey, decisions were made. Youth sports, decisions were made. When it came time to make decisions about schools, no public health standards were put in place by Chris Sununu, punting it down to the local level, just like Trump punted it down to the local level. And you know what? This is a healthcare issue, because safe schools equals safe communities. And it's not simply a matter of local control. It's not like the virus changes forms when it's in Concord or Manchester or Portsmouth. Public health standards need to be implemented. And Trump has failed by any measure on COVID. And Chris Sununu continues to support Trump. And like I said, he calls himself, in his own words, a Trump guy through and through. Supports him after all of this. Charlottesville. Supports him after that. Supports him after Trump called service members who died serving our country losers and suckers. And I'm voting for Joe Biden. I did vote for Joe Biden. Chris Sununu is voting for Donald Trump, and he still hasn't answered the question, are you proud to vote for Donald Trump?
Okay. So the question's about youth sports, and Dan just wants to talk about Donald Trump and Charlottesville and avoid the entire question. And I have to say, every time Dan is trying to take a shot at a lack of guidance or anything, he's taking a shot at Dr. Chan, Lori Shibinette, the Division of Public Health, the entire team there, because they're the ones creating the document. We don't do this in a vacuum. They're the ones putting forth these guidelines. They're the ones working with us as a team, working with science and stakeholders, finding that middle ground, seeing what will work. And we've been very cautious in this state, which is why our numbers have been very low. I'm incredibly proud of that team. It's not just some unilateral decision the governor makes. It's an incredible team, which is why we stand together as a team and why those documents, those guidance documents, have been so successful for the state of New Hampshire.
15 seconds, Senator.
Oh, well, thank you. You talk about teams. Talk about state government. You know, my dad told me, he worked in a furniture factory, that the way to judge a manager is by what their employees say. The State Employees Association support my campaign. The State Troopers, the Troopers Association, the State Employees support my campaign. Troopers on the front lines. And the people who work underneath Governor Chris Sununu do not want to see a third term of Governor Sununu. We got to look out for employees and our state employees on the front lines.